Coming to you from one of the most resourceful, independent, and badass generations of all time. Welcome to the Gen X Brothers Podcast.
I'm going to ask you, Eric, do me a favor.
What?
Because I'm not the biggest fan, but convince me why I should like Ghost.
Yo.
Because you've been talking about
I don't
Ghost.
know, I don't know. Okay, something about this album, and I like Ghost. I've always liked them. Obviously Iron Maiden's my number one favorite band, and I ran that new album, to death. Senjutsu, played it over and over and over. But this new album, for some reason, I've never had an album where, not even when I'm playing it, and it's been out for 2 weeks now, Impera by Ghost, and it's still in my head. I'll listen to, I was listening to Judas Priest today, and once I was done, a song from Impera came in my head, and it just kept going and going and going on repeat. And even when I'm not listening to it, and there's something about what Tobias Forge, who created Ghost and everything, there's something magically he's doing. I don't know if it's in the blood in Sweden, because if you notice, most Sweden artists or bands or singers, pop
ABBA,
singers, or
for
whatever.
one, ABBA. I love ABBA.
ABBA, they just know how to, I don't know what it is, they just know how to write these songs that just get in your head, and it's and I don't like earworms. I hate when a song gets over and over and over in the head, especially if it's a bad song. But these guys happen to have really good songs. Music is subjective, and we can't expect everyone to like whatever. There's always going to be. It's just a matter of how you listen to it when you listen to it. I think what I love about them is that they're number one everywhere. This album is. Check this out. Here's how bad I am. Got 6 versions of it.
Here's the versions. What the fuck is wrong with you?
The Walmart version, the Target version, the indie store version, the regular black vinyl version, and they all come with something different, like a poster, stickers.
Eric, I think you better just spread your legs and call yourself a groupie.
Damn, I'm definitely a groupie with this. And I got to see him live, and that was such a killer concert. Then I even rewatched the concert on YouTube because somebody had a really good version, from their cell phone. And I don't know, it's just it's inspiring. Because I love, I've always been a fan of just melodic. I love just really well-written songs, and I don't know what I can say to convince you, but I just know that they're well-crafted songs, and I think this guy is really onto something. I think he really knows how to, because in fact, and the funny thing is that a lot of the music is about Satanism, it's about religious oppression, the atrocities at the churches, hypocrisies of Christianity and all kinds of stuff. Even in this new album, there's a little bit of a sense of humor about Donald Trump and Pence, because he's totally, this whole album is based on the fall and rise of empires. And if anything, he's almost predicting what Putin was doing, because this album was obviously recorded before the invasion, just like their album called Prequel. That was actually about the Black Plague. And then all of a sudden we get COVID after that album. so it's kind of weird. This guy's on to something. And he comes from a background that was it's a pop band. Even though he's metal, he's always been lumped into the metal scene, and a lot of people are just disappointed in Ghost. Like, oh, they're not metal no more. It's to me, when I first heard them, that first album, I knew they had a metal sound, but there was something different. They were incorporating these 60s psychedelic sounds and melodies and just kind of pop stuff that I just thought worked really well. There's bands that could do that, but they just don't get away with it the way this band that I feel gets away with it.
I took the time to listen to it when you told me, I've tried to listen to him before, and listen, I appreciate it. I understand. I was listening to the intricacy of the guitar and the stuff that's going on. And you can definitely hear the 70s vibe, like Boston or, ELO type of thing, where it's just this, and I don't know, there's this clash in my brain, and it's probably my fault, because sometimes when I listen to new music, I have to be in a right mind space in order to go, oh shit, that's great. If I'm in a sad mood and I listen to a band, there's just something clashing in my brain with the way the vocals are structured and the way he sings it, and then the costume at the same time.
Well, I thought that was cool, because they had the Indy NASCAR race happen a couple of weeks ago called something Rentals, whatever. It's a big Indy race. And, NASCAR is very Bible Belt, right-wing Christian. And Ghost had a car in it. The driver, I forgot what his name was, but he had his car all decked out with the Ghost album cover. That's which obviously has upside-down crosses on it and everything.
That's some funny shit.
So that was so cool that they actually got into that, into NASCAR. And then I forgot about Jimmy Kimmel. So in the number one, and I think it's just cool because he found a way of capturing people's attention with this catchy music that we all kind of grew up with in the 80s, like Boston and ELO, and just be able to, and Queen, even I hear a lot of Queen in there, some Rush. And there's a lot of people that try to write that style of music or try to write that that formula, but they just cannot get it right. And I just think this guy's got it right. Like, I think he actually really did his homework on how to structure songs and
well,
really,
they're definitely progressive. It's definitely a progressive sound.
yeah, it's progressive. It's progressive with its pop and catchy. There's even one song that sounds like it could be a Backstreet Boys song, but they do it so cool because the lyrics are about like sacrificing to the Lord and all this, it's all about the hypocrisy of Christianity, all these other religions.
But I can see where they're the type of band where you actually for me, I don't have the time at the moment to sit down and listen to something and have it bleed into me and go, oh, that's fucking cool. So maybe that's why I can't get into it. Like, it's the type of band that you really have to commit to.
Yeah, and that's what got me in. That's what kind of got me into them more, because when I first heard the second album, it was Opus something, or no, Opus was the first album, and I can never say the name of their albums because they're so long, the titles, but second album anyway, Papa 2. Yeah, so it took me a while to really kind of like it until I actually sat down and read the lyrics, and then I started kind of trying to figure out, are they changing singers ever? Because this is before anyone knew who Tobias was. The whole idea was they were going to just be completely, anonymous or whatever, right? So we still got the ghoul, what they call the ghouls, the nameless ghouls. They're always going to be anonymous. But what happened? There was a lawsuit that happened where I guess some old disgruntled band members wanted to sue him for like song rights or something like that. Whereas he writes most of the music, but I'm sure he has co-writers as well. So he had to name his identity in public.
So were they trying to out him on purpose, or were they just trying to get money or recognition for being part of it?
Probably mostly recognition, and just, I guess, due to courts and legal stuff, his name had to be out in the public, and so that's why everyone knew, oh, this is Tobias Forge. And I guess he used to be in a band called Subvision, which was a popular pop band in Sweden.
That's fun. That's why he wanted to keep
their music's actually, and their music's actually kind of good. I'm thinking like, this guy's like, knows how to write. But anyway, so the fact that they changed these papas and they got this whole image going where it's like it's Papa 1, Papa 2, and then Cardinal 1, Cardinal 2, and it's the same guy. But if you go on YouTube, there's chapter 1, chapter 2, and it tells kind of the story of like this whole, it's obviously they're creating like this image and this theatrical
storyline
thing where storyline. There's definitely a storyline to it.
Well, let me ask you real quick then. Let me clarify something. Okay, so each album has the illusion that there's a new singer because he has a different voice. He has a different look.
And before, I thought they were changing band members. I think they can't be getting new singers. Maybe it's a different band member changing into the singer or something.
But it is actually the same person. Yeah. He's just doing a different take.
And what they do live, here's what the cool thing they do live. So at the end of every tour, like at the end of this tour, they're going to do somewhere that these people come out on stage, these nuns and stuff, and they do some kind of extravagant thing. And then you see Papa, and he disappears, and he comes back as a new Papa. And if you follow the storyline on YouTube, it's got the old Papa. He's called Papa Neil. He's like the old one. He's got to bless the new guy, and the new guys could be like, the new Papa's been kind of sarcastic and flamboyant. That's why the music, they say that actually the music for each album is supposed to reflect the personality of that Papa. So that's why like these last two albums have been kind of more pop-ish, because even the last album, the singer had more of like a Las Vegas kind of frontman kind of feel or whatever.
So basically he's writing,
really cool.
In other words, like the band is basically writing like a script for each album, and it's progressing each time. I mean, that's a cool concept, and I certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, it's just a big production. And I think that's why it's taken off so big, because you're thinking about this band has been around since, I think, 2006 is when they actually formed, but they didn't really even hit the scene until 2010, but they're already playing arenas and stadiums. And even Tobias Forge said himself, he said as a songwriter, he's like, I always want to write those kind of songs that are stadium worthy. And I think he's actually achieving that with this album, because every song to me, I could hear like in a big stadium.
So is Tobias, he's just the guitar player. He's not the singer though.
No, he's a singer. He's actually the guy that does
he's the one, the singer.
Papa.
Okay.
And he looks so different because he wears masks.
Because I get confused when you say Tobias and then you say there's Papa, but they're this one and the
Tobias
same.
Papa's the actual character, but Tobias is his real name.
But he's the singer, he's the guitar player, he writes all the music, or the majority of the music.
Later, I'll shoot you the link later. There's like a little 6-minute video, like it's called The History of Papa, and it kind of shows you how they started and where it goes, and let you check that out. And you'll kind of get. I even turned on a few friends that were like you, like Jude and friend Mike Rammel, like. Now they're in the Ghost group with me. They're like, this album's so catchy, I can't get it out of my head.
I think that's what bothers me a little bit about Ghost, is that there is like, everywhere you look on Facebook, there's like all this Ghost shit. Like, and it's kind of annoying. It's like,
it is. And I thought I would get annoyed by that too, but I keep going back to the thing that this is what we need right now in rock. We need a band who's actually talking about satanic shit, religious oppression, the fucking corrupt government, the empires. but doing it in a way where they're sucking people in. Like, Stryper tries to like get metalheads into Christ because they play really good metal. Well, that's what kind of like Ghost is doing, but they're doing it in a different level, more brilliant. Like in fact, a NASCAR freaking up, down, side down crosses or the Bible Belt.
But I think maybe that's kind of what turns me off to them a little bit, is that they're too pristine. I mean, obviously it's great, it's well written, but there's no like grit to it, maybe. And that
it is super clean. Even live, like it's almost like you're hearing the record. But at least live, they play really live. Like they're not using tracks or nothing like all those guys are the Nameless Ghouls, and even there's a Ghouless, it's the female singers, and they're super talented too. And now on the albums you could see the song titles, like he'll have co-writers, and I guess some of the co-writers on this last album are actually really popular songwriters that wrote for like a bunch of different bands.
Well, that's got to be a refreshing take. Like if you're a pop writer and you're like, oh, you want to write a song for Ghost, that's like a cool notch on your belt, I guess.
In a month from now you're probably, oh shit, I'm so burnt out on an album. But I don't know, I thought I'd be burnt out by now on it, but it's still. Even when I see the album cover, like all of a sudden the song gets stuck in my head. Like, the darkness at the heart of my desire is such a good song. It's like it's almost got a country music feel to it, like in the chorus, but it's just so well produced. That's another thing too. I love the production. It's just like, especially when you have really good headphones, it's just so big and just like flamboyantly nice.
Well, you're certainly doing a good job of selling it. So if you guys,
so they better give me some commissions and royalties.
So if you guys out there haven't heard Ghost yet,
get out there and get Ghost Impera.
Impera, okay. And how many albums is that do they have out?
So they have 5 studio albums out, and they got a bunch of EPs. They actually do a cool Depeche Mode cover on one of their EPs. I can't remember what song they do. Another good song they do is a cover of If You Have Ghost, You Have Everything, which I didn't know was a cover, but it's a really good song.
I never heard that song.
It's by a Rourke Erickson, some kind of guy. I guess he passed away a few years ago, but he's some 70s songwriter guy.
Wouldn't that be funny if you just took like old songs that never made it and then turn it into a song that would make it? Like a popular band took look up what was the worst single in 1968 and then go, we're going to make that a hit. And just completely
I bet
revamp
Tobias
it.
could do it, I bet. So that's probably what Tobias is looking. He's probably already ahead of us on that.
That's a good concept.
And he's such a nerdy guy. Like in the interview, he just looks like a typical dude to be walking down the street, short hair, kind of. He doesn't even look metal or nothing, But
well, does he do interviews without the makeup, or now that he's revealed, or?
Yeah. He's been for the past like 10 years. He's been revealed, so he's been doing a lot of interviews without the makeup, and he's very opinionated about certain things. And cause I think that's what it is. Because there's a certain frequency in music that really, like they say, I think it's 432 HZ. You know how the guitar standard is A440?
Yeah.
So 432, I believe, is the frequency of the Earth and the universe, or the actual Earth. And any song that's recorded in that frequency will make you actually cry.
Let's test it.
And I tried to look it up and find it, but I can't find any songs that are recorded in that. But there's some kind of study I read.
Well, it just so happens that I do have that frequency.
You fucking cunt!
That's fucking.
Actually, it's right
here. That's A666. That's A666. Yeah, right. Yeah. So D standard is 435 HC, and that's close to the 432. So I don't know if that's maybe why this album is resonating, or why their music resonates so well, because they're tuned in that frequency.
I wonder if they're using, or if they're implementing techniques of like Ozzy Osbourne did, of fucking shit hidden behind the tracks and subliminal messages and shit like that. Wouldn't that be funny if it comes out like in 5 years that they're, that they're brainwashing people and shit? I mean, they kind of are, because it's the same thing that religion does.
Because check this out. I was listening to Sirius XM the other day. There was some show, I forgot. I just stumbled up by accident, but they were playing that Ghost song, and the chick was going off about it because first time she's heard it. And then the one DJ was saying, yeah, I've been a fan for them for the past 4 years. I went and saw them live a couple of times, and I'm a hardcore Christian, and even I feel guilty singing along to their songs because of the lyrics, but it's so good, I can't help myself. And I'm a devout Christian. Damn. That's what Tobias's plan is, man. Suck your ass in. You're gonna convert your ass.
I wonder how many, like, if you just started playing their album without saying anything who they were on like Christian radio in the middle of Texas, how many people would go, "Oh, I love that band. That's so great."
I bet if they didn't have their image and they were just, their content was a little bit more kind of simple and stuff, with the songs they have now on this album, they'd be like freaking just up there with all the Grammy pop artists.
He probably studied like religious, like like religious music, like all the like Christian rock bands and stuff, and said, well, let me just do the exact same thing that they do, but I'll replace Jesus with Satan.
Yeah. Some people are saying that he's a Freemason. I don't know. What does Freemason mean?
It's basically people that band together and they kind of supposedly run the country. You know, the founders of this country and I think, was it Aleister Crowley who was it? He wasn't a Freemason. He wasn't. He was going to be a Freemason, but he ended up being part of some other like cult like that. Where
it's possible because they have a song called Square Hammer, and then I guess there's some Freemason references in that because I think Square Hammer is a reference to Freemason, and then in the Call Me Little Sunshine, that new song, that's a reference to Aleister Crowley because I think that was one of the 666 the Beast, Call Me Sunshine, Call Me Little Sunshine was a Aleister Crowley saying. But
I always thought Freemasons were more of a religious, like they were backed by religious groups, even though they were more cultish. They were always the more like the Christian hardcore. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Maybe he's not a Freemason, but he seemed to like touch on that subject sometimes. I think it just sounds to me like he's just going like, especially with the Catholic thing with the whole Pope. He's like the satanic Pope, so definitely making fun of the Catholic.
I mean, cultism is cultism. You fall for the shit. You fall for the shit. That's just the way it goes. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're David Koresh or you're fucking, Jesus Christ.
I'll be in that ghost group on Facebook, and it's like some of those people are acting like they're the Beatles. I guess some chicks are like, Tobias, I gotta meet him in person, and he makes me cry when I hear him. It's like, he's Papa when he's in his makeup, not Tobias. I'll call him that.
How dare you? You're not a real fan, you bitch.
Yeah.
Get your fucking ass out of here.
No. Yeah, not bad, yeah. But, like I said, Iron Maiden's always going to be my number one, but somehow Ghost has taken over my brain for the past 2 weeks, and we'll see how long that lasts. And I never had an album that's actually just resonated with me like that.